Hi everybody.
Hello,
Hi, so I am Jamie, for those of you that don't know, and this is...
Dr. Sara Vivona.
And so we are the two girls at Integrative Health and Wellness. I'm gonna pull this closer so that you guys can see us. I thought it would be, there we go.
Thought it would zoom.
I thought it would zoom a little bit more. So we're so happy that you guys are joining us. We kind of just wanted to be pretty open and just have a forum to answer any questions that you guys might have, whether you're a patient here or not. I know Dr. Sara and Dr. Colin are just super generous with their knowledge, and me being like your typical off the street person, right? Like, I don't know any of these things that they have to help everybody. And so we just really wanted this to be a place where you guys could come and ask questions. Please give us likes or hearts if you like what she and I are saying. We'd love to hear questions back from you so that we can answer anything. If you guys have questions today that we just don't have time to get to, we're gonna stay on for about 20 minutes. If we run a little bit longer, it's okay. If you have questions, just send them to us, and then Dr. Sara, you'll message them,
I'll
right?
get back to you, yeah.
Okay, so I know, like, for me, even working here, I don't know much about your story.
Oh.
So tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Sara. I grew up in a family that I guess was hippie-ish. We lived in upstate New York, and we were at all the farmers markets. We ate all the organic food. My mom made sure I ate my vegetables, and I was relatively healthy as a result. And it really wasn't until probably teenage years, 13, 14, when my health started to decline. And that's really the age where you start hanging out with friends. You start cooking on your own, going to restaurants, and the most popular hangout spot was Cinnabon in the mall for my generation. Probably still is. I'm not that old. But I was looking it up, and that cinnamon bun has 32 teaspoons of sugar in that, and I would have that regularly. And so I started to get headaches, and I was told that that's normal. I mean, hormonal, teenage girls, you're going through changes, you might get headaches. So I didn't think anything of it, just kind of took painkillers when I needed it and went on. And I was masking a problem, it wasn't fixing it, so they turned into migraines. And again, I was told it was normal for me. My grandmother suffered from migraines, so I was told it was genetic, and you kind of just gotta suffer through it until menopause, just deal with it. And so I would take Advil and be on my way, but I kept getting sicker, and it progressed to the point where I would have a migraine every day. And I'd have a migraine that, smells bothered you, lights bothered you, noise bothered you, and so I'd be pretty much down for the count whenever I'd have a migraine. And so it got so bad that I would have to wake up, eat breakfast, and then take a bunch of Advil just so I could get through the day without having a migraine. And whether it's because all the painkillers I was eating or I was just getting sicker in general, but I started to get nauseous all the time, like the verge of puking all of the time. And so you don't want to eat a lot when that happens, and I lost a lot of weight my senior year of high school. And I was a big athlete. I mean, I was recruited to play in college. I had goals for that, and my body started to break down. I started with Charlie horses in my calf that would be so bad that I couldn't lift my feet when I was running. I'd get stress fractures in my shin bones, and the final straw was I hurt my back somehow in just some freak accident. I don't even know what I did, but it just cracked a bunch of times, and after that, it hurt to take a deep breath. And you can't really play sports well if you can't breathe. And so that sent me to a doctor, and they did all the tests they could for back. Nothing really came up with anything, maybe minor disc irritation. So they fitted me with a very expensive back brace that they mold to you. Didn't do anything. And so they did blood work, they did MRIs, they did all these things, and I came back fine. That I was a perfectly normal girl at this point. And so I kept telling them, no, I'm not. I have headaches, it hurts to breathe, I'm nauseous. And they sent me to a psychiatrist as my last stop, because they decided, this is the time you're going to college, you're just depressed, you'll be fine, but it's all in your head, basically. And at that point, I wasn't really into health much, so I don't know what told me not to listen to them, but I'm thankful for my teenage self for not listening, because I would not be here today if I went on the psych drugs that they wanted me to. And at that point, if I just kind of fast forward, I changed my major to nutrition, and then I was kind of inspired to go to chiropractic school. And at that point, I was either going to go to med school, get a master's in nutrition, or chiropractic. I've never really wanted to be a chiropractor. I mean, I don't know why I went, but I did. And on the first day, I met Dr. Cullen Consales, the other doctor here, and he was about graduating when I was entering. And so he was just the nice upperclassman student that was just kind of showing me around, telling me what I'd learned, telling me what he was learning, and the extra stuff he was learning, which is the techniques we do here. And then he offered to treat me because he just kind of likes to practice, and I wanted to learn, so I said yay. And he was getting me better. As a student who has really no real life patient experience, he was just kind of messing around. And my headaches were getting less, my nausea was getting less, my back pain was getting less. And from that day on, I was like, that's what I'm going to do, was those things, and I do it now. And I kept being treated by him it took me 3 years, because I'd be my worst patient ever. I'll be honest. I gave him such a hard time. But he stuck with me, and I haven't had a migraine in about 7 years. I have triggers, so I could give myself one if I want to, but I know what they are. I'm not nauseous, so I can eat, and my back doesn't hurt, and my body's not breaking down, and overall I feel a whole lot better. So I'm really, really thankful. And this is kind of why I do these I guess this is Facebook Live, but I do a lot of classes, and I like to just go out because there's a lot of people like me who have been told you're fine, and you're obviously not, or you've been diagnosed with something and you're kind of just told live with it. And you don't have to. So I like to go out and just say there's an alternative that works very well.
So I actually didn't know that much about you, so thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
I really didn't, and I've worked with her for over a month now, and I just haven't had a chance to hear that. But it is so cool to hear, and I will say, I really suffer on this whole nutrition eating thing personally. It's not one of my favorite sacrifices to make, and I feel it. I do feel it. So we do have a couple of questions. We have some couple of questions that came in, and then we have a few questions that you guys sent us that you'd like Dr. Sara to answer. So one of the first questions we have here is, what's your top suggestion related to dieting?
The top one, and no one's going to like this answer, or probably either of these answers, and you probably know what it is. But the first one is to just eat real food. That's the most simplest thing you could ever do to change your health dramatically. And real food is food as it's found in nature. It's not processed, it's not found in a bag, a box, or a can. Processing companies, they want things that make them money, and to do that they can't rot on the shelf really fast. So they have to process out anything that will rot. Anything that will rot is all the vitamins and nutrients that actually will keep you alive and healthy. So if you take them out, then you're just eating garbage basically, and it's not providing your body with anything at all. And so if you just want to change out some of your things to actually the real food counterparts, you will change your health dramatically. So instead of bagged mashed potatoes, get yourself some potatoes and make it yourself, things like that. And the other thing is watch sugar. And everyone's like, no, I'm done.
Don't leave yet, because the next question's really good for you
Right?
guys that are struggling with no sugar.
Stay with me.
I am a sugar addict.
Everyone is.
Oh, it's awful. So what would you recommend as some sugar substitutes?
Yes. So one thing to know, it's not your fault. Sugar is addictive. It's similar to cocaine as it reacts in your brain. So it's actually more addictive than cocaine. And so you will literally be addicted to sugar. You'll have withdrawal symptoms from it, and you just won't want to give it up, and that's normal. So you kind of have to acknowledge that and get through it a little bit. But I like to use stevia as an alternative, and for people that kind of don't like the taste of stevia, there's monk fruit, which you can find at Giant Eagle or Walmart. It's all over the place, and they both will have absolutely no impact on your blood sugar, and they'll sweeten your food nicely.
I have to say, I was very reluctant to this sugar substitute because the only thing I didn't like the most about stevia was that I couldn't use it the same measurements as sugar.
Right.
Right? And I'm not a math person, so that was really challenging for me. And so, but the monk fruit,
Yeah, you can.
I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool too. You're actually gonna have cookies for us on Friday, right?
Yeah, peanut butter cookies.
Peanut butter cookies here for anyone who has an appointment this Friday, which is so cool because that will be a sugar substitute.
Mm-hmm. It'll be guilt-free cookies.
So really cool thing too is that I love what you guys do is that you guys do a lot of videos, not necessarily go live videos because this is our first one.
It's nerve-wracking.
But you have videos on YouTube that have a lot of recipes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. She actually, you know, because I watch what they eat every day. So I'm questioning them all the time.
We have to be really good.
So I'm there, I hold them accountable, right? And so you brought in cookies the one time. They were so good. And I actually got the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
My kids preferred it over the garbage cookies because
Really?
we did make those also. But yeah, it was really cool that the monk fruit did that. Some other questions that we have is intermittent fasting okay?
I mean, yes, it is. It depends on your health, whether you want to do that, but fasting in general is almost a normal state for humans occasionally. If you think about how we lived when we were hunter and gatherers, we didn't have food for periods of time. So it's normal for our bodies to function on that, and they actually kind of thrive on that. If you think about how much energy your body uses to just digest food, it's enormous. And if you kind of take that away, it can then use all that energy to repair things that it normally wouldn't, or repair them faster. Got it?
Okay. That was a technical
Don't
difficulty.
touch anything.
No more me touching the phone. Okay.
Yeah, so fasting, it is good. And there's all different ways you could do the intermittent where maybe you only eat for a certain number of hours a day, or you don't eat breakfast and you eat lunch and dinner, or vice versa. And it's a way to it can make your immune system smarter. It can, give you more energy. It can help you lose weight, all these things. And so it's definitely something that you could look into. You might not want to do that forever, but it's good to kind of do it. It actually changes your metabolism, so it can switch things up a little bit.
Okay, so one of the other questions is, how do I know? Oh, this is be like a two-part question for you. So one is, how do I know if I'm getting all the nutrients I need, especially, so that would be one. And then especially if someone has dietary restrictions, like if they're gluten-free, dairy-free, have a lot of allergies.
So that's two-part?
Two-part question. How do we know if we're getting all the nutrients that we need?
Well, short answer, you don't. And you probably aren't, because even if you ate perfectly, and there'd be absolutely no processed food, no sugar, everything's organic and grass-fed, the amount of nutrients in those things are a lot less than they were. And so it's a lot harder to stay nutritionally sound. So you will become deficient even if you're eating healthy nowadays, unfortunately. So you would actually need to be checked by a professional who can tell you, okay, you need this, come in, this is what we do. You can see, is it affecting this organ or this organ? You need vitamin A, you need vitamin C. Okay, now you don't need it anymore.
So is that a blood test?
No, so we do muscle testing, which is more of like a neurological testing, and it's a way to kind of actually tap into your body's nervous system and to kind of use the nerves and see, how is this organ doing? Does it respond to this nutrient? And it's very, very specific. I think we have some more videos on it on our website.
The other thing then would be, so same thing goes then with somebody with dietary issues. And you treat people like this all the time that come in with dietary problems, right?
Yeah. Most food allergies happen is because you don't have the enzymes you need to actually break down the food. And so it is absorbed as like little foods rather than like the glucose or the proteins that it should be. And then your immune system attacks it, and then you get the allergy symptoms. And so in order to fix that, you would have to supply your body with the enzymes you need to fix it and avoid that food for a period of time, usually like 90 days. And after that, most people aren't sensitive anymore. But if you are sensitive to a lot of foods, and I think the person who asked had a whole list of foods, then you probably are deficient in something. But chances are you can correct those food sensitivities to make it a whole lot easier on yourself in the future to stay nutritionally sound.
I thought yesterday we were eating lunch together and talking, and I was eating good food, right?
She was.
I was actually eating good food.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any dietary restrictions that I know of, and so I was eating, it was like carrots, bacon, and chicken.
Yeah, pretty
That
good.
was it. And as we were talking, I started itching my nose, and I don't have allergies that I know of. And so I started itching my nose. And I said, oh, I'm complaining about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, my immediate reaction was, well, I didn't eat so well this weekend. So this reaction, I thought, had to have been from, some of the carbs or sugar products I may have consumed when my doctor wasn't around. But I didn't think there was any possible way that I could be having a reaction because I don't have restrictions, from anything that I was eating for lunch in front of my doctor friends, because you have to be good when you're with the doctors,
yes.
right?
So you smack it out of your hands.
But actually, I was having a reaction to one of those foods I was eating.
You were, yeah. A common thing is if your nose itches, if your ears itches, if your back of your throat is itchy, or if you get mucusy or your pulse races, you are eating something that you are sensitive to. And a lot of times it isn't necessarily the unhealthy foods. I've had people allergic to carrots. Like, there are things that are healthy. And it could also be like we've probably figured out with Jamie that it was just the quality of the bacon she was eating. Like, if you get poor quality meat, that meat's going to be inflamed and it's going to then do things to your body.
And I have to say, so this leads into one of the other questions that we had was, anyone who knows me knows, and my story's on YouTube on integrative health and wellness for my thyroid and how the doctors here helped me get over that. And now you guys are helping me get over a back issue, and I'm realizing now how much food is causing this inflammation.
Yeah.
So one of the questions then was like, are there dietary differences for people who have thyroid issues or pain issues? Should they be eating differently than the average Joe Schmo who doesn't have these?
Yes and no. I would say you'd be more extreme. There is kind of like certain foods that all humans generally don't respond well to, whether or not you have a back issue, and it'll be a lot more apparent to you if something makes that worse versus someone that necessarily doesn't have any visible symptoms.
Okay.
But like, you would really want to avoid anything that would inflame you. So that'd be sugar. And that would be grains oftentimes today.
Sad emoji here. Sad emoji.
Grains. It would be, the non-organic foods, they're sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. And a lot of them are GMOs, which will cause inflammation in your body. So it would be...
So even eating a carrot that's not organic could cause me pain because it's not organic.
Yeah, if it's sprayed with herbicides, Roundup. If you've seen the picture of them spraying Roundup, they have to go in like hazmat suits. And there's like some farmers that get a splash on them and they're dead. But it's safe for us to eat.
Okay, so I'm just looking at some of the other questions that are coming in here because I think we have about 10 minutes with you guys. So how about recommendation? How do I know? I'm just going to scroll down here. I guess I'm not. Okay, so that's okay. Okay, so whenever you, allergy season is in right now. Okay, so, normal chiropractor, I think chiropractic adjustments is just for your back.
Yeah.
So that's not the case here, right?
Right, that's true. Adjustment can help because it can stimulate the lungs. But yeah, with allergies, it would be looking at the organs usually responsible for allergies. Which could be the lungs, could be the sinuses, but a lot of times it's more of like the liver, in that you can't flush out toxins, so they're gonna go somewhere. And this, I guess, would be a two-part question. One, a lot of like allergies, whether year round or anything, or even like chronic congestion or skin things, is because you aren't flushing out crap. And it should kind of go out your guts, and then if it doesn't do that, it will go out your kidneys. And if it doesn't do that, it will go out your lungs. If it doesn't do that, it will go out your sinuses. And if it doesn't do that, it will go out your skin. And so you can get skin rashes, you can get sinus infections, you can get ear infections, you can get lung pneumonia, bronchitis, you can get irritable bowel, all of those things due to you aren't able to flush out toxins appropriately. And so the key to that would be identifying why you can't, whether it's you're not pooping enough, or whether it's your liver is backed up and you can't flush out anymore because like the garbage is full, or is there something you're being exposed to every single day of your life? And so even if you do flush it out, it's just put right back in. And then with like seasonal allergies, the liver also kind of breaks down and flushes out histamine. And if the liver's backed up, then you can't flush out histamine. Histamine's like one of the number one things that can cause an allergic reaction.
I think one of the cool things that you were saying, and I know like I've talked with Dr. Cullen about this too, is that, you know, there are certain family functions where there's just a lot of good, garbage food there to eat, right? And I mean, because you and Dr. Cullen eat very well according to your bodies and what you know that your body needs, even if you do eat something that's overloading your system, you guys recover from it better. So like you guys recover from eating garbage better than I do.
Right.
Because of this liver.
Right, yeah. We have less crap in us.
And so I found that so encouraging, because it's not that you're constantly telling people they have to strive to eat right all the time, but it's just not going to happen. And I think that that's one of the coolest things about you and Dr. Cullen, is that you give people grace for holidays and special occasions, but, you know, trying to get my body to work better to
handle it.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, we want you to eat well. I mean, that's the foundation of health, is you can't ignore that fact. And so you can't use that as, you know, I'm going to live my life, I'm going to have the best time of my life, so I'm going to eat all the donuts I want. I mean, you won't, because you'll be sick, you'll be miserable. But also we realize you're human, and there's other people in your life that might not be as interested in health. And so you got to find the balance. And so you got to eat the way your body needs it to eat most of the time, so that you can enjoy holidays without too much problems.
And so, does monk fruit sweetener dissolve?
I haven't used it, actually. You have.
I have, but I haven't used it in iced tea. Like, I've used it in cookies. I have used it in coffee, and not a problem. I absolutely loved it. Monk fruit's actually my favorite because there's no aftertaste. That is my go-to. It is a Giant Eagle. It's monk fruit with erythritol.
Yeah, so if you can, you want to find the one that's just monk fruit, because erythritol is a sugar alcohol, which is a little bit better than sugar, but for some people it can cause GI problems or gut diarrhea.
I actually didn't know that. I'm so glad that came up.
Watch out.
There's my question for the day. Okay, so we just have about 5 minutes. I was just going over some other questions. We have one here. What's your opinion of keto? Been low carb, high fat since 2013. Lost lots of weight and no longer in pain. That's awesome, Ashley. But am no dipping my toe into the keto diet, but figuring the macros confuses me.
It is tricky. I mean, you're doing it partly now, and so we use an app called Chronometer, and you can download it. There's a free version or a paid version, and I kind of use that, and they'll have a little pie graph. And depending on like your health condition, if you're like the average person, then you'd want half of that little pie graph to be from fat, and then the rest would be mainly protein and then some carbs. Whereas if you're really, really sick, you might want 3/4 of that pie graph to be from fat, and then the rest protein and carbs. So it's all individually based, and it's a tough one to kind of generalize.
Okay, so we're gonna I just want to wrap some things up for you. We'll definitely keep this as a recording on this site. We are gonna try doing this every Wednesday for you guys with a different topic. If you have topics that you're interested in hearing from the doctors about, send me questions, send me topics. So next week, Dr. Cullen, you guys are gonna get to meet Dr. Cullen, and he's gonna be talking about pain. The other thing I wanted just to let you guys know is I just started here a little over a month ago, but before that I was a patient for almost a year, and it's changed my life. So I want you guys to have that too. But it's so cool because they really are more than just chiropractors. Like I use you as my PCP, which is so cool, and I'm super passionate about it.
Aww.
I know, right? I'm so happy. But okay, so the other thing, don't let me forget. So every Wednesday at 5:30, it's 5:30, right?
Yeah,
5:30, her and Dr. Collins switch. So one week she'll teach a class, the next week Dr. Collins teaches a class right here, okay? And we're right in Greensburg. But they teach a class on what they do, how they do it, and how and if it can help you.
Yeah.
It's great because they pull people out and actually demonstrate stuff on them, because you guys do even emotional work. Like I have a daughter I'm bringing here, and we joke about it, but it's serious. She's coming for attitude adjustments.
Yeah.
So it's not even just physical things. It's so wonderful in what you guys are doing, and we just really want to help everybody.
Yeah.
So give us a call. I'm stumped. So my number here is 724-205-6260. I'm the only girl at the front desk, so now you guys know me. Feel free to call. And if you want to come to like one of the Wednesday classes, they're informative, they're free, but we like to reserve a seat because the office is kind of small.
Yeah, we only can fit 9.
Yeah, so give us a call for that. Otherwise, send us any questions you have. If you have questions about this, and obviously we're not going to be live anymore after this, we'll try getting back to you on answers for that. So we'll see you guys next week, and thanks so much for coming.
Bye. Thank you.
Maybe.